Hello and welcome to episode something of the video show. I promised myself I wouldn't say the episode number of the video show, and I found myself already doing it straight away there. So welcome to the video show. So this is the show where I answer your questions that you have about video, and today will be no different. So as we go through, if you've got any questions for me, put them in the comments and I'll be very happy to answer them in a future show. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So don't forget to subscribe, like, share, all that stuff. And remember, you can watch the other episodes of the video show on my website, redbookproductions.co.uk/the-video-show. So all those episodes are on there, and you can catch up loads of different subjects. So your question might already be answered, but if you want me to answer it again, put a question in the comments. Today we are talking about how to get guests for your podcast or show. So instead of me rambling on about it forever, I thought I'd come up with a nifty little scheme of just putting it up on the screen for you and answering as we go. So here we go. First thing, concentrate on the theme. So concentrate on what theme you have for each episode. Don't really think about the guests just yet. Just think about, what do I want to talk about? What would be useful? And then think about who would be a good guest to fill that type of theme. And then what I would do is just think about 3 people that you would be a good guest talking about that particular subject. And then look to see who has maybe appeared on podcasts before. Maybe they've got their own podcast, maybe they do their own videos, and then approach those kind of people. Have a list of 3, approach all of them. One of them will say yes. If one of them doesn't, make another 3, go through the next 3. And that's a really good way of doing it. We'll go through this a little bit more in a minute. The second thing is, I'm going to type this up. Look for people who have something to promote. So if they've got a book, if they've got a podcast, if they've got another show, if they've got an offer coming up, this will make them more likely to appear on a show or a podcast. Also, I find that if they've appeared on other podcasts before, they find it like this is pretty easy for them. It's quite normal to do it. So I think they'll be more likely to appear on a show. If it's someone that's a bit hard to get hold of, for example, if they're really well known and they don't have like easy access on LinkedIn, or they don't have like email address listed anywhere, or they have like a business email but not a personal email, it might be a bit harder to get hold of them. So then it might be worth getting in touch with them via their PA or virtual assistant or something like that, just to sort of get your foot in. Look for like creative ways to get in touch with them. So for a guest recently on the Mob Show, I got in touch with the person's personal assistant, and that was very easy. They just booked me straight in because I explained what the show was about. So think about creative ways of doing that. So for example, when we booked Hide the Pain Harold for the Mob Show, I went through just his booking agency and booked him. Didn't have to pay anything or anything like that. It was just, yeah, that's fine. We'll book it in for a date. It's just explaining what the show's about and then thinking about what's in it for them. So think about that. Don't be afraid to ask big names. I should have done this before. Don't be afraid to ask big names. Like if they say no, they say no. It's not a big deal. Most of them probably will say no, especially if you're a smaller podcast. I had someone say no to me because they don't go onto a YouTube channel that has less than 100,000 subscribers. That's fair enough. Like if he feels like that's, well, I gave it away. It's a him. If people feel like that they need a particular viewership, a regular viewership, that's absolutely fine. Just go on to the next person that would fit into that theme. So yeah, this person who asked was pretty well known on YouTube. So it's fair enough that they want to go into a very well known YouTube channel. And then hopefully we'll get to that point in the future and book him in then. Yeah, as I said earlier, what's in it for them? What's in it for them? Think about what's in it for them in terms of your viewership. So maybe it's not the amount of viewers, maybe it's the type of viewers. Maybe they're trying to get into a particular sector. Maybe they want to talk about a particular subject. Maybe they just want to promote their book. Maybe they just want to promote their podcast and they can see some sort of cross pollination. But when you approach them, be very aware that there's something in it for them. It's not just about, oh, come on to my podcast. It's going to be something build it in for them to work out, okay, yeah, I can see why I'd want to go onto that podcast. So give them an idea of why they should do it. Lastly, do a run through. So before you get them onto the show, do a run through to make sure that the everything's running smoothly. Look at their setup, look at their microphone, look at their cameras. Does everything look good? Give yourself sort of 15 minutes just to run through what the show is about with them, so that they're aware of what's going on. That way they feel more relaxed when they come onto the show, and they really know what the score is and everything about it, really, so they know how to prepare for it when they actually come onto the show. By doing that, it just makes it a lot easier for everybody. We do that on the Mob show as well, and that's when we record our sort of promotional video that goes out to promote that guest is coming onto the show. It's just a really good way of getting people relaxed before they come on. So that's it for this episode of the video show. I'll be back next week to talk about my tips for running an online event. Let me know if this show has been a bit laggy. It looks a bit laggy to me with the video and the audio. It doesn't look quite up to sync. I'll watch it back, but that's something that I can always look at to try and improve. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to share this episode, like it if you're watching on Facebook. Follow me if you're watching this on LinkedIn, and then subscribe if you're watching it on YouTube. I'll be back next Friday, same sort of time, probably midday next Friday. But if you've got any questions about video before then, feel free to put them in the comments. Feel free to message me and just ask me a question. And then you can watch these episodes and other episodes on my website, redbookproductions.co.uk/the-video-show. I'll see you next time talking about more video stuff. Bye.